on caffeine?
Dependent on...
Who's dependent on caffeine? Not me. I only have 4 espressos today. And
not culture matters.
Not culture matters. Caffeine culture matters.
But you know what? I did read somewhere, and I forget exactly where it was from. It was one of the founding fathers, actually, that said, you know, having a cup of coffee a day increases longevity of life.
How about 50?
50? Well, how about this? The guys actually said 40 cups. He drank 40 cups.
There was a French novelist that drank 50 cups a day, but he died early in life.
Well, that had to be from other causes.
Yeah, I forgot his name, so that's a shame, right?
But so this conversation began with dependency on anything. You know, whether it's, you know, let's just start off with saying hardcore drugs to minor drugs, tobacco, nicotine, to, you know, marijuana, or even let's say like back painkillers, like
skydiving.
Body.
What's that called? Like when you want to do
just
things.
Adrenaline.
Yeah. That.
You know, people become dependent on. That's what free runners and.
I gotta say it. Life, in essence, is one big high, from the sense that all drugs are reflections of the neurotransmitters already within our brain.
Yeah.
So they create more or less of those neurotransmitters. So life is just one big high, in essence. So the question is, are you creating the high from within? Or are you creating it from without? If you're creating without, it's going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah. Now, let me share a story and also ask you guys a question as well. I remember my first time, I was literally high on life.
Huh.
And it was years ago. I was probably 17 or something, and I was on the bus. And I was heading somewhere, and I had I don't know if it was a thought or...
was that when the Braziers had the 3-month trial?
I don't even know what that is. So that just goes to show where we are.
You're so innocent.
So I remember on that bus, and I sat there and I was looking out the window. Have you ever had like endorphins or something just go off when you're looking at a sunset or some type of view? Well, I was some type of view. But I was looking out the window, and I know it wasn't based off that, but my whole mind and body went through an entire shift, and I felt, for lack of a word, high. I felt like, wait a minute, what is this? Like, that was my first spiritual connection of like, what was that just happened to me? And then I actually reflected on that for a few days, and I was like, yo, that has to be what everyone is talking about, high off life. That had to be it. And I've experienced that plenty of times now since then, just from a day-to-day basis. But that was my first moment, and it was incredible.
I thought you had to be asleep to have a wet dream.
So let me ask you guys, what was your first moment you felt high off life? Or if you haven't felt, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this ideology of being high off life?